Wife, 25F, wants kids and I, 27M, said we can't afford it. How to deal with it? I met my wife 5 years ago online. We felt the spark pretty soon and got married in 2 years. We had discussion about children. I told her that I am open to them but only when we can comfortably afford them. My childhood was different. My father was always working to provide for our family and we barely got to see him other than at breakfast in the morning. It was just our mother with us. Due to those experiences, I decided that I won't have kids until I am at the place where I can provide for them without missing out on anything. I shared this with my wife prior to our marriage. We are financially comfortable now, but quick calculations made me realize that I would considerably have to put our foot down. We will be a few inches away from living paycheck to paycheck. We have been saving for a while that we want to invest. I told her that once the investment starts yielding profits, we can definitely consteer kids, but not before that. She wasn't receptive and told me that I was being paranoid and unreasonable. I love her and I understand where she is coming from. But I want to provide my future kid with everything in this world and her to have my full attention and don't want to miss any of it. So what should I do? We haven't really talked. She has been cold. I don't think she is mad. She is just sad. Update. I just sat down with my wife and decided that we can wait until the mortgage on property and we have extra income. In the meanwhile, she will check with endocrinologist if there is a ticking clock on her chances of getting pregnant, or my ability to get her pregnant in 5 years of time frame. Fortunately, most of your doomsday scenarios did not work out. I was kind of with you. But then I read your comments and saw that your investment and your idea of living paycheck to paycheck is that you own a rental property and are 5 years from paying off the mortgage. You don't want to consider kids until the mortgage is paid and you're getting pure profit from the rental income. I don't care what anyone says. This income on top of having a job is not living paycheck to paycheck. You have said that purely for sympathy. You have one hell of a fallback if a financial disaster were to happen, a property that you can sell. It's no wonder that your wife doubts your true intentions. Because living paycheck to paycheck is such a barefaced lie that it's obviously an excuse. Stop lying to your wife. If you don't want kids, just say so. But don't plead poverty and claim to be living paycheck to paycheck and expect her to fall for it. Something tells me that 57 years from now, you will come up with another excuse for why the timing is not right. Your wife is right in being upset with you. Quite honestly, you seem a bit selfish and inconsiderate of her wants and needs. You must have led her to believe you'd want kids sooner than 10 years of marriage. I don't think you were fully honest with her before the wedding about this topic. Not to mention, you are not living paycheck to paycheck if you have a rental property. Your idea of being financially ready is a bit unrealistic. Judging by your interactions with others, you're not even close to living paycheck to paycheck. And you are unyielding to any valid points contradicting your own. It's my opinion that you aren't emotionally mature enough to handle being a father. So just tell your wife that you don't want kids and let her go find someone else who isn't a dictator in the relationship. This should have been discussed and a timeline agreed before you got married. TBH, if your expectations for life are so different, you probably shouldn't have got married. Holding an undefined financial goal over her head and a timeline of many years is of course going to cause friction. I think a compromise of having $X savings or be earning $X amount and a shorter time frame would be more reasonable. If I was her, I'd worry about moving goalposts and fertility if I was asked to wait that long. You never know if you'll have issues and take years to even get pregnant. It sounds like you're not willing to accept that having kids will make your finances tighter. So you keep moving the goalposts. If you don't want to have to worry about money, don't have kids. And tell your wife you're never going to have them. This will probably end your marriage, but that's for the best since she wants kids and you apparently don't. I've read the post and your responses. You should get off the internet if you can't accept the responses you were given with a minimum of grace. I do not wish any ill will, but should the doomsday scenarios happen, I won't be crying for you, but for your wife. The truth is, the longer a woman waits, the harder it will be for her to do so, both for her to get pregnant and how hard it will be on her body to recover. Some women wait too long and are unable to have kids at all because of it. There is no guarantee she will even be able to have children later on. You also have to understand that for women, waiting also means they may lose the chance to do so, unfortunately. My friend went through that very thing. They put it off. At 30, she lost her ability to ever have children. I'm not saying this will for sure happen to her, but if it did, would you ever forgive yourself for forcing her into that position? What may seem to be a temporary decision now can actually turn into a lifelong decision for her as a result. So you are basing the timing of whether or not to have kids according to hypothetical investment profits? What kind of investments? How long do you think you'll have to wait until they show a profit? What happens if they don't? More importantly, how long will your wife stick around to wait for these profits? What is your plan for childcare until the kids are old enough for elementary school? Will your kids be in daycare, or would your wife plan to stay home for a while? Can she return to her career later? I think the two of you should meet with a financial planner to discuss your options. I don't think waiting for short-term investments to pan out is the kind of financial stability you should base a decision on. And she needs to understand the financial impact that kids will have on your household. It seems like from your comments you will not budge, so I'm not sure why you even came here to begin with. If you're not going to compromise or have a shorter timeline, divorce and let her find someone who wants to have kids. Also, your childhood is normal for more people with kids. Not different at all. Wait until you're 50. Then you'll be able to afford babies. You realize that decisions in a marriage are made together, right? You are unilaterally making choices for your family as if she has no say. Your wife is an equal partner, and it isn't fair to make her wait for kids for a decade. Since you were married 3 years ago, and want to wait an additional 67 years. You want to wait. She doesn't. Find a compromise that makes you both feel more comfortable. You should probably get therapy for your childhood trauma with your father. Stop playing games and just tell her you don't want kids. Stop trying to wait out the clock, it's despicable. You can't take your money with you. Just remember that. It seems like any amount of money isn't enough for you. I think your expectations are a tad unrealistic. Providing for your kids and not missing out on anything is only something the very rich can do. Right now you have money to invest. That means you have money to spare. How does that translate to living an inch from paycheck to paycheck if you were to add kids? Did you do an honest calculation? Maybe include her in this and do an in-depth calculation together. There is nothing magical that any of us are going to come up with to get your wife to thaw out. She is disappointed. I can tell you she wants what she wants. You run a big risk creating resentment for the rest of your lives if this isn't addressed quickly, gently, and to her emotional satisfaction. If you don't want kids, that's fine too, but a hard line, whether it's 5, 6, or 7 years, doesn't need my agreement, it needs your wife's. Question. Realistically, what is the timeline that you'd give? Like, say, in 5 years? Because, until we can comfortably afford them, isn't really one. I'm definitely not judging and completely understand where you're coming from. But maybe if you said, in 2 years, let's talk about this again, then sure. That might sound better. You can't always plan your children. Don't delay too long. She may not get pregnant for many, many years. I was in perfect health and so was my husband. After 8 years, we had our son. But I almost gave up. Short answer: yes, you are being paranoid and unreasonable. Everyone who says this, they end up never having them. It literally is the plot of a great film called Idiocracy. If you wait for everything to be perfect, it never will be. Plus, what if, in 3 years she starts having fertility issues? Bodies don't always cooperate. Just do it or let her go now so she can find someone else who is willing.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.